Number 12, and the ring of the 5 gold rings. I really like this one. I think this one can go on this button. Well, there's one ring, not 5 gold rings, but there's one. Well, I'm going to give you a recipe for today's Advent diary, and it's Christmas ice cream. And I'm actually making 2 flavours of ice cream because my base recipe always makes double the amount. So I have got 2 of these Pyrex dishes, just from IKEA. But I know that 2 of these will hold the full amount. It's always nice to make 2 different flavours. So the first flavour is going to be Christmas flavour. The second one is going to be chocolate and orange. And I'd actually maybe have waited a little bit longer, make it just the week before, so it's the freshest and nicest that you can get. So this is no churn ice cream, but you probably will need to ripen it if you've made it a little while in advance. And ripening it just means that you either put it in the fridge for a while before you have it, so it softens up a bit, or I quite often just do it in the microwave 30-second bursts until I can get my spoon through it nicely. And that saves taking it out of the freezer all the time. So ingredients, I have got a big carton that is 600 mils, 21 fluid ounces of double cream. So that's what'll whip up really well. And I have got 1 tin of condensed milk. That is the ice cream base. And you don't need anything else really for the ice cream to work. I'm actually going to add in a little bit of coconut cream, and I didn't have any grated coconut to grate, but I did have coconut milk powder, so I've just added about a tablespoon of milk powder and I've got it melted down with some hot water until I've got a creamy consistency, because that'll be nice in the Christmas one. For the Christmas one also, I have done this yesterday, so I have got, I didn't weigh anything out, it really is to your own tastes, but I've got about a handful of raisins, I've got maybe 6 chunks of glacé ginger that I've chopped up, I've got about half a dozen cherries that I've chopped into quarters, and I have got some cranberries. Not a huge amount of fruit actually, but I have soaked it in some amaretto. Now, people would say rum or brandy. I'm not keen on either of them, and so the almond liqueur is what works for me. If you don't want alcohol in it at all, you could just use orange juice or apple juice. In fact, I think orange juice would be quite nice because I am actually going to put in the zest of a clementine as well, and a little bit of cinnamon, but not much. And for the chocolate one, I'm going to use some of these chocolate orange sticks, which over here are called matchmakers. I don't know whether you have matchmakers as well. Matchmakers, and they're chocolatey orange and very snappy and lovely. And I'm going to use some chocolate orange buttons as well, and then also make a little sauce to ripple through out of some normal chocolate and probably the zest of the orange again. I've got the full carton of double cream in here, so I'm just going to carry on whipping this until it's thick. This is now the perfect consistency to add the condensed milk, and then just stir it through, get ready to half it into my bowls to make the different flavours. Just get half of it into another bowl so I can flavour them separately. I'll put that one to one side and just work on this half first. So on this half I'm going to put maybe a tablespoon or 2 of this coconut cream. I would say maybe it needs melting in the cream first, maybe if you're using grated, but this was coconut milk powder that I've just used with hot water. I'm going to grate some of the clementine zest. Orange is always a nice Christmassy flavour. I think maybe half of the clementine will be enough. And I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. Maybe about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Again, I don't want to overpower anything. I want it to be subtle. And I think you can put in what fruits you like. I like the raisins. I think the cherries are a definite must-have. The ginger, I've just decided to add that this year. Cranberries look nice. And apricots, but I haven't put any apricots in today. Maybe I've put the ginger in instead. But I'm going to add whatever the soaking liquid is as well. Oh, and citrus peel. But I get my citrus peel whole and I chop it up myself. But yes, citrus peel is a nice addition. I'm going to fold that in. And this is now ready to go into my tray and into the freezer. And hopefully it should just come to the top of here. I'm getting my chocolate one ready, and I've already put the zest of a whole clementine in. And I didn't really want to do a chocolate ice cream. I wanted to be rippled through. And so I've got a little pan here, and in there I've got 200 grams of milk chocolate, the juice of the clementine that I've just put the zest in, and I'm going to add some golden syrup to it. Now if you're somewhere that doesn't have golden syrup, then glucose syrup, or I can't think what else it is. I'm just going to add a bit in because it'll make the chocolate into a sort of a sauce rather than it sort of cracking in the, I don't want it to be cracking up, it'll make it more like a fudge chocolate. I'm also going to add just the tiniest drop of milk, like that. So I'm going to get that on the heat and melt that through to a sauce. I'm all set for bringing this together now. My sauce went really liquidy and I've been cooling it down with the base of this pan in a pan of cold water, and I've kept stirring because I don't want it to be hot going into the cream. But that was the point of putting the syrup and the milk and the juice in. I didn't want the chocolate to set again. I wanted it to be a bit of a fudgy thing to ripple through. Also, I've looked up, and golden syrup, America, Australia, maybe you'll have to look for light corn syrup. So first off, I'm going to put half of my chocolate in. I'm going to start and ripple that through. I don't want it to be over mixed. That's why I'm putting it in pieces. Then I'm going to put some of these chocolate orange buttons in. And I think I'll just crush them up a bit. And then these, which are very crisp, can you see how crisp they are? And I'm just going to crush them up. I think they'll be really nice when you're eating the ice cream. And you see how my the chocolate sauce is really making the ice cream chocolatey coloured. I didn't want all of the chocolate to do that. I do want some rippled. So I'm going to just stir that. And I'm going to ripple the last bit through carefully. Because I just can't get it quite all out of the pan. Isn't that a shame? Just put that to one side. And I'm just going to ripple this through. Oh, it looks lovely already. And I'm just, before I go any further, going to bring my other pan in, my other Pyrex in. Well, that looks super gorgeous. I think I've made more of this one than the Christmas pudding one. But you can see it just goes into these two Pyrex dishes quite nicely. I think I'm allowed to lick the bowl now. Maybe I'll just put a bit of these on top for decoration. Nobody will be in any doubts that this is chocolatey ice cream. In the freezer, and I'll come back later when it's frozen. It shouldn't take a huge amount of time either. Well, I think it's about time for a taste test, and they are just frozen. But I'm going to have a taste of both of them. I'm just going to take a curl of it. So that's the Christmas one, and this was the experiment because I haven't done this chocolate one before. Here's the Christmas one first. It does taste Christmassy. I think the fruit's good, the base is good. I think if anything, I could have put more orange in and a touch more cinnamon. The fruit and the taste of the amaretto is coming through really nicely. Don't rip up the chocolate through. I put more orange zest in, and it's got the broken up chocolates. That's worked really well. That's definitely worked well. I like the chocolate. Ice cream tastes chocolatey enough for me. I don't want it to be too dark. And I like the crunch of the orange crunchy sticks. And that has definitely got enough orange in. I think all in all, I'm going to brand that a success. I wouldn't change the chocolatey one at all, but on the Christmassy one, I would add more cinnamon, and I'd definitely add more of the orange, the tangerine zest, or I think they're clementines. I'd add more of that zest, but it does taste very Christmassy, and I definitely, if I was to say do one or the other, I'd do that Christmassy one because I think you'll like it, and it's different from a normal Christmas pudding, and it's nice and light, and it definitely has the flavours of Christmas. Anyway, I'm going to get these back into the freezer. And just say, if you've liked that, give me a subscribe and a thumbs up. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye from Marion's World. See you tomorrow.